Hey y'all, it's your boy Maurice. Thank you for checking out my YouTube channel. And I am on a mission to share God's word through practical situations and have a little fun doing it. So with that being said, let's get right into it. Hey, growing up, I used to go to amusement parks, fairgrounds and playgrounds and carnivals and things like that. And they had this attraction called the House of Mirrors. And this House of Mirrors was a maze designed to get you distracted. It's a maze full of mirrors that reflect paths that are really not there and gives you a distorted images of yourself as you're going through this maze. And so I always used to try to walk through it and figure my way out, looking down at this path, realizing that I'm looking in the mirror and the mirror is reflecting something that's really not there. So I would walk in and bump into the mirror, or I'll try to go this way and that path's really not there because the mirror on this side is reflecting a different path. And then I will come across a section in the House of Mirrors where I was completely distorted. So everywhere I turned, there was a different image and a different perception of me. This mirror had me tall. This mirror had me short. This mirror had me wide. And I had all these different perceptions coming back at me. But there was one mirror that made me look like who I was supposed to be. But I never focused on that mirror because I was so distracted by, ooh, look at, I'm 7 feet tall, or, ooh, I'm short, or, huh, that's funny. And I did that. And that was a distraction that was designed to keep you lost in that maze. So I liken that to how Satan tries to come at us and attack our identity. And he tries to distract us off of who God says we are and put it on who he suggests that we are. See, there's a difference than who God says we are and then who Satan suggests that we are. So we're going to take a look at how he tried to do the same trick with Jesus in the wilderness. So if you look at Matthew 3:17, we see that John the Baptist is baptizing Jesus, and the voice comes from heaven and said, hey, this is my son who I'm well pleased. That's the affirmation right there. Then we know that he was led into the wilderness by the Spirit. And while he was in the wilderness for these 40 days, Satan came and tried to attack his identity. We first see the attack in Matthew 4:3. He says, hey, if you are the Son of God, turn this stone into bread. And then he comes back at him again at verse 6. If you are the Son of God. Well, he already was affirmed to be the Son of God, and who he was that God said he was well pleased. So Satan tried to come and steal his identity with these mirrors that really wasn't there. But Jesus, being the Word, responded with the Word, and the enemy had nothing that he can bring in front of him to get him distracted and get him off the path that he was called to do. There was nothing that he could bring up or show him that said, hey, you're this. That's why he said, if he tried to create the doubt within himself. But that's unfortunate when it comes to us, because when he comes to us and he said, if, we immediately get distracted by the mirrors that he put in front of us saying that this is who you are, and not the mirror that says, I'm made in the image and the likeness of Christ. So we take these distractions, which is what he does. He does misdirections and he does distractions. So we're walking on this path. We're trying to be in God's will and figure out who God says we are. And then he brings up all these mirrors that has us distorted, and we get lost looking around, turning around at all these mirrors saying, oh, yeah, I did that, or yeah, I did that, and yes, I did this, and man, that happened, or this person said I'll never be anything, or this, and all this stuff that he has distracted, when there's one mirror that says, hey, you're made in the image and in the likeness of God. And so as we're walking on this maze and on this path, we have to focus on that mirror, because that is the mirror that will lead you into God's divine will and plan and purpose for your life. Instead of focusing on these side mirrors, these distractions that lead you nowhere and designed to keep you lost in this house of mirrors, never, ever realizing or recognizing your purpose and your potential. And so what we have to do is respond like Jesus responded. Jesus responded with the word. Every time the enemy came at him, he responded with the word. So we have to have the word in us in order to respond the same way that he did. But if the word is not in you, then you will be misled and you will be distracted. So as you're walking on this path in this house of mirrors, remember, there's one mirror that says that you are fearfully and wonderfully made in the image and in the likeness of God. And as long as you focus on that mirror and you're looking at that mirror and you're walking, you'll be led right into God's divine will and divine plan and divine purpose for your life. With that, stay focused. Let's not get caught up in the house of mirrors, being distracted with all these images that the enemy tries to throw up and says we are. But let's look at the image that we really are, who image that we're made in. So it says, old things pass away and all things are made new through the blood of Christ. All those other mirrors don't mean anything because that's the old you. There's a new you that God's trying to get you to recognize and see. Focus on that and let's not get caught up in the house of mirrors. Please comment, like, subscribe, and share. And I'm out. Peace!